Hi there, my name is Carolyn Dunn and I'm a Dot Mandala artist, and I'd love to welcome you to my channel. Today we're painting another Lazy Susan, and this one is called Intuition. So here's our color palette. I used Golden's Titanium White. I used a little bit of Scarlet mixed with the bright salmon to just brighten that up a bit. Coral Blush, Melon, Peacock Teal, Laguna, Sea Breeze, and in the Dazzling Metallics, Peacock Pearl, Purple Pearl, and in the Arteza, we use the Pearl Sea Green. And that's it. We're starting on a new one today, and it's called Intuition. I've left the back in a neutral color, and I have varnished the back and the sides, laid out the front, painted it black, and then my husband sprayed it with a sealer. So I've laid it out into 16 segments. So let's see how this goes, shall we? I'm going to start with the center dot, and we're going to do that in white. Lots of paint on there. And sorry, we'll just go in right here. Beautiful. Okay, well, it's not dry yet, but I just can't help myself. I'm gonna go in. So now we're placing that first row of dots using the large end of the white tool and the color Melon. And the next color is Coral Blush, again with the large end of the white tool. I think that first dot, I think those two dots are a little wonky. So I'll see if I can fix them up with my needlepoint tool. This one just needs a little bit more of a circle to it. That works for me. Okay, and the next color is Bright Salmon. So let's go in with the blue tool this time with the Bright Salmon. And last but not least is Scarlet. Now I've mixed in a little bit of the Scarlet into the Bright Salmon. That's just going to give us a nice difference in color. The Scarlet on its own was far too red. So I think we'll be using the white, and we'll create a dot here, and then we'll drag it in. Okay, so I'll have that white dot be right about there. And then I'm going to drag that down. And let's do this all the way around. Okay, so what we've done here is we've gone in with the melon, and we're creating just a little row of dots, walking the dots down the sides of those white swooshes. And the top dot up above that, the uppermost dot, is in the Coral Blush. And I don't know if we'll have room to get another row of dots around there, but we'll just see. Okay, so now we're just bringing these dots around. And wipe off the end of the tool frequently because the paint will just build up too quickly. So I think what we're going to do with these top ones is just swoosh them to the middle with the yellow tool. And we're using the Coral Blush paint. So now we're going to put a pattern separator in, and we're going to use the Sea Breeze paint and the number 5 dotting tool in the DIY Mandala Stones tools. And still using the number 5 tool, we're going to create another row of dots with the Laguna. Love those colors together. Okay, now we're going in with Peacock Teal, and we may graduate up to the number 6 now. Okay, now I'm going to take some of this Bright Salmon. I'm going to just darken it up a little bit with this Scarlet. There we go. So we're going to create some flowers around here. 19 it is. And we'll start here and every other one. There we go. Now let's walk some dots. We'll start with melon. Now I do want to start with the yellow. We'll walk down with the yellow. And it's the large end of the yellow that we're working with. And coral blush is next. Where's my pink? Now we'll go in with the bright salmon for our last row of dots. And the large end of the white tool. There we go. Now we're going to bring that center to life a little bit. We're going to add tiny little white dots in between all of those circle of teal and bluish dots. And we're using a very fine tip tool. This one's from the Green Stuff World company, but a needle tool or one of your smallest pointy little tools will do the trick. Okay, let's get started on those swooshes. We're using peacock teal, and we're using the large end of the pink tool, and we're just drawing that swoosh right down the center, allowing it to taper off down near the bottom. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to go in with Laguna next and create some more swooshes. And we were using the pink tool. Sometimes I like the swooshes to sort of blend in together, and sometimes I like to leave that black line in between. It's just preference or what you feel this piece, how you want this piece to go. And sometimes you have no choice because that's why I kind of like to let them dry, and it gives me the option. Now you could take those all the way down to the bottom, but I usually like to put a dot down there at the bottom. And the last set of swooshes are in Sea Breeze, and again using the pink tool. And we'll go all the way around. There we go, all the way around. Okay, let's top dot these guys in melon. Maybe 11. Let's try 11 first. Number 11. Okay, so I've mixed together some more bright salmon and just a tad bit of scarlet to get us this color for our flowers. And we're going in with the number 19. These next 3 rows of dots are a repeat of the previous row. So we'll be putting in melon using the yellow tool, coral blush using the pink, and bright salmon using the white tool. Okay, so now we're placing some titanium white dots at the base of those swooshes using the number 18 tool all the way around. Now we're using the white tool, the large end of the white tool, to create a swoosh in the peacock teal. I named this piece Intuition. You know, that gut feeling or knowing without any reasoning or facts. It's a direct perception of truth independent of any reasoning process. Learn to listen to yourself. Make time to quiet your mind. It is said, when the whisper of your soul calls, ... answer. I love it. Okay, let's go in with melon to top dot these here. Okay, back to the swooshes. I'm going to use the large end of the white tool and the Laguna paint. While we're waiting for those swooshes to dry, we're going to do a round of dots in the Sea Breeze colored paint using the number 10 tool. And around we go. Okay, let's add those Sea Breeze swooshes. Now let's top dot these Sea Breeze dots with the peacock teal using the number 7 tool. Okay, and let's add some more white dots using the number 18. I always think at this point they kind of look like pineapples. Okay, I wanted to add in some extra guidelines, so I've just measured between the two and split it down the middle. So I'm just drawing in some new guidelines now. Okay, continuing on with the peacock teal, and we're doing these top dots here. And we are doing them in the number 12. So this is in the 13. There we go, all the way around. Okay, now we're gonna top dot, and it's in the Sea Breeze. Okay, so we're going in with the number 4 tool to create these top dots. All right, now I'm starting to sketch in some guidelines for myself. Okay, so I've sketched in some things here, some curly cues. We're gonna walk some dots across here, and then we're gonna put in some lines. So, what do we start with? The curly cues. Okay, and we will do them in copper. Worn penny. And fair warning, I don't stick with the worn penny. I just wasn't feeling it. So later on, I'll show you how to undo a color you don't like. And we'll use the pink tool for this. Let's just do it. And now for some white. And I'm using the titanium white. Okay, we're gonna use the number 7. There we go. And then we're gonna take, I think, the green tool. Let's give it a try. Okay, we have to go the other way. Yeah, before we do any more of the center, we're gonna have to let that dry. All right, let's do the other side in the white and try and stay out of that paint. Sorry folks, I hadn't realized my camera died. Anyhow, I have placed in the lines around the inner edge of those Sea Breeze dots. And not to worry though, because I did not like the color, and I go back over it with another color, so you'll get to see it then. Now I'm mixing up some of the Arteza Sea Green to top dot our top dots using the number 7 tool. And now we're going to top dot the top dots with the sea green as well, using the number 3 tool. I used a circle stencil here to sketch in some half circles that I'm going to place some swooshes in and then dot around them. I just like the shape of it. So we're going in with bright salmon, and we're going to make a swoosh down the center of these. And I've got the large end of the blue tool, and we're just going to start right on top of that line there and drag that down. And we're going to do this all the way around. Next, we're going to go in with our coral blush. And don't forget those bubbles. Now we're going to go in with the melon, still using the blue tool. And we're still always wanting to leave that black space in between. And we can leave less than that, but that is how much I'm leaving. Okay, that's the swooshes. Okay, now we're ready to go in and create 3 rows of dots following that circle pattern around our swooshes. And we'll be doing them in titanium white, sea breeze, and laguna. Let's start with the pink tool. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and dot down the sides. For this next row, we're using the large end of the white tool and the sea breeze paint. Okay, we're starting with the peacock teal, and we're going to create this pattern again, only in the opposite colors. Now in the laguna. And in the sea breeze. Is anyone else like me? I get partway through a project, and this is so typical with almost every project, and I decide it's not good enough or something's not right about it, and I just want to walk away from the project. The thing I've learned is that you need to step away, or you need to get someone else's input on it, and I am very fortunate to have a very supportive husband who is honest with his constructive criticisms, and he always tells me, just keep it up. You know this happens every time, and in the end it turns out beautifully. And so we carry on. Thank you, B. So I really just was not feeling the copper or the metallic blue little swipes. The colors did not work for me, and so we're going to go in and change them. And I'm just going over top of the same spots, but with my dazzling metallics purple pearl. What a difference this makes to me anyway. Just watch this transformation. Well, that just changed everything for me. I'm loving it now. Now we're going to go around and do those little baby swooshes that go along the inner diameter of that circle. Now I want to go back and do that center dot in the same Dazzling Metallics Purple Pearl. Oh yeah, I love how that pulls everything together. Gorgeous! Okay, let's get back to that outer row of swooshes, and we're going to create another 3 rows of dots around them. And we'll be starting with the white again, and coral blush, and then the bright salmon. And it is just like the previous row, only in the opposite colors. And we'll start with the pink. Just like we've got right here, so right on that line. Got 2 more rounds to go of the others. So our next color, so we'll have melon and bright salmon. And using the large end of the blue tool. Now the bright salmon, green tool, and there's just enough room. Okay, let's bring out that purple pearl again. We're going to use the green tool to create some swooshes, and we're going to put some swooshes between the flowers on the outer row and beneath the tealy colored swooshes. And we're dragging that swoosh all the way down to just above the top of the petals there. In retrospect, it might have been better to do those inner swooshes first. Hindsight is always 20/20. And you can see with these inner swooshes, I dot with the large end of the tool, and then I'm dragging that dot down with the smaller end of the green tool. We're really closing in on this. We are now going to use the large end of the green tool to place some titanium white dots at the bottom of those outer purple swooshes. Now, using a very fine tip tool, we're going to create some dots at the bottom of those swooshes, and we will end up walking those dots down either side of the swoosh. And we're just going to walk these dots around. Now, using the same fine tip tool, we're going to walk dots around the smaller swooshes. Now, we won't have a dot on the top, but just down the sides. Okay, I've decided at this point I want to add some purple swooshes on top of that first row of flowers. And we'll bring the swoosh all the way down so it meets the smaller swoosh in the middle. Okay, now I think the purple was exactly what this thing needed, and I am trying to figure out the top dots I'm going to do on there, and I'm just not sure whether or not I'll do the bright salmon again, or whether purple might do it. So I'm going to give it a bit of a test, and let's try these 2 different colors and see what we think. I was so disheartened with this when I had the copper on it. I thought that there's something that is just not grabbing me, basically. So let's see what happens if we put purple top dots. Or do we go with the bright salmon? I can tell by 1 dot what I'm leaning towards. I don't know. What do you think? Yeah, purple. I'm not much of a subtle girl, so I say let's just do it. There we go. All the way around. All right, to finish off the painting on this piece, we're going to take the Dazzling Metallics Peacock Pearl, and we're going to create a dot at the top, and we're going to walk the dots down the side with the large end of the pink tool. So, what do you think? Are we done? Do we love it? I think we're done. We'll wait till that all dries. We'll clean up the guidelines, and it's time to varnish. All right, we're at tidy up time. We want to get rid of all our guide marks or little chalk lines that we had in there. And they should be easy to clean off. I find I use the Yoke chalk pencil, as I've probably told you a million times. And I find that it comes off so easily. It's really great. Got a few touch-ups to do where I've got little spots of paint here and there where I don't really want it. Okay, and then I'm going to go in and do some touch-ups with the black paint and let that dry, and then we'll be able to varnish. Okay, I've dusted my piece off, and it's time to varnish. Liquitex High Gloss Varnish, 3-inch high-density foam brush, piece of paper towel, and off we go. This is our first coat of varnish, and we'll be adding another 2 coats minimum. Okay, we'll let that dry and we'll throw on another coat in about 4 hours. Okay, now that she's all done, it's time to reattach the back so it becomes a Lazy Susan again. Okay, the hole is already there. Now you don't want it totally tight or it won't spin. Okay, let's give her a spin. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, and that's what it looks like when it's all done. Hang in for the final pictures of this beautiful Lazy Susan. Thanks again for joining me on my dot art journey. I had a lot of fun creating this piece. I honestly feel like you are right there with me when I'm painting. And let's all be attuned to our intuition, shall we? If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, keep on dotting.